You know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Must be Texas A&M, buddy. What a nice comeback on Friday afternoon and Friday evening to salvage, not even salvage, no, win the freaking series.
That's what we wanted, right?
I read something on TexAgs this weekend, and they said, if you would have listened to TexAgs, you would have thought the season was over. I don't know what section of the show they were listening to, because there were some people also saying that I was a little too optimistic about. We said if Weston Moss gives you X, Y, and Z, then there's a chance to win the series.
I think I remember saying, as long as you haven't just go out and win the series and everything's good.
Right.
Because that's all. I think I remember even saying, look, I don't expect them to sweep Vanderbilt. It's hard to sweep a series. That's why the sweep at Missouri was impressive. By the way, I think Missouri won the series over Kentucky this week. But we were talking about that. So I don't know. People hear what they want to hear. There's like this guy's, whoever would say that is like the Lloyd Christmas character.
It could have been the baseball bunch
on
guys.
Dumb and Dumber.
He could have been talking about baseball bunch.
No, because those guys are the most optimistic.
Were they?
I didn't hear them, but typically they're
I was here and I didn't hear them.
Okay.
But I'm just kidding, guys. I didn't hear that much. But
so you're saying there's a chance?
What I'm saying is this team's got some limitations. But if they get good, not great. I mean, great would be awesome.
If they get solid pitching, they can beat anybody, and they can beat anybody bad.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's more about the response. And I will say this a couple different times in Coach Earley's tenure. I know last season didn't go the way we planned. I got it, okay? We're moving on from that for right now. But a couple different times in his tenure at A&M, this team has said, all right, enough of this. Let's go win some series. And I don't know if we're in that same point right now, but that Thursday night game against Vandy didn't feel right? It felt like, oh, man, if Shane Sandeo can't keep going, what's going to happen on Friday? What's going to happen after Friday? And what this team does is they just handle their business in a series that they had to have.
Yeah, and what was the second game? 8-4 with 2 or 3 home runs, and then they just played home run derby in the next game.
I love when they play home run derby. So much fun.
I mean, they got a lot of guys that can knock it out of the park. They're fun to watch. Again, and you can't count on. Look, obviously, you can't count on that all the time. You can't. You don't want to get to the point where you have to score 8 to 10 runs and get a game to win. And so they get a shutout in the last game. If they don't need a shutout. I enjoyed it. I think Sims is excellent, but again, if they can just get solid pitching, they could win the conference championship. Now, they're probably too late for that.
Yeah.
But because I don't think they're going to run the table from here on out. But I'll say this: give me solid pitching. I think they could win their next series if they get solid pitching. And I know it's just a middle of the conference season, but I think it might be a pretty big series coming up this weekend.
We're going to be talking a lot about that upcoming series. I do know we have a midweek game tomorrow, but this team has now won, 6 of their last 7 games.
Okay.
Right? Is that right? 6 or 7? I think
that's about right. Yeah.
They've won a couple series in a row. And it sets up a showdown this weekend against your hated rival and all the history there, and an opportunity to, not right all the wrongs, but feel a lot better.
Yeah. if you could win that series this week, then again, I don't want to get too crazy. Say, hey, you can win the conference championship because you dug a little bit of a hole there by losing the first 2 series. But it wouldn't be out of the question because you'd be within shouting distance, and the 2 best teams statistically or in the standings, that you play are behind you.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll say just win the series, and with solid pitching they can, because we know they can hit it.
So the question now becomes, and we're not going to be able to figure it out here on the show. I don't know if Coach Earley's going to tell us later on in the show or not, but how do they switch up the rotation? Does Sadeo move to Sunday? Does he move out of it?
What would you do?
I think there's a part of me that says keep Sims where he is because it's working. There's a little tiny part of me. But because it's working, because he's looked so good so often, and those are still the same lineups no matter what day it is, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Do you move him to, I think you keep Weston Moss at 2, you move Sims to Friday, or your first starter of the series, and then I think you do Shane Sadeo with a short leash on Sunday and hope that you haven't gone to your bullpen too many times all week long and can make that a bullpen game.
Okay. I think what I would do is I would move Moss to Friday.
You'd move Moss to Friday, okay.
And then I would move Sims to Saturday.
Okay.
But here's the deal with Sadeo, and we talked about this last Friday. As bad as it looked against Vanderbilt with the home runs flying,
it also looked good.
He doesn't look like he's that far off, because he, again, in 5 innings, he struck out 10. And I bet on at least 2, maybe 3 or more of those home runs, he had 2 strike counts, like 1 and 2. It's just that hanging curveball, right? And maybe you I don't know how they fix that, but he's not that far off if you're striking out 10 guys in 5 innings.
Yeah, I don't know, right? I've used this with you before, but there were years, and I'm not trying to compare Shane to this, but there were years where the worst team in the NBA would lose a bunch of games A&M football in 22 when they went 5-7. How many of those games they were right there?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes when you're right there, that's who you are, right? You're just right there, but you're not. And I hope for him, because we've seen a very good Shane Sadeo in the past, I hope that he's just a pitch or 2 away from figuring it out for himself.
Be the Notre Dame football team from 2 years ago. They lose to Northern Illinois.
That's right.
And end up playing for the national championship. Get progressively better. And maybe he is getting better. It's just the next step is that 2-strike pitch that you can't get the guy out, or at least keep it in the park.
How about this offense, though, man?
It's fun.
Was it 20 runs on Friday?
And now Bear Harrison, who was amazing.
Yep.
Bear Harrison is starting to really hit, and not just get hit, but hit it out of the park. And of course, we know Grahovec and Sorrell and Hakopian, but Jorian Wilson and Benderup even is hitting some out. And Jorian Wilson's this guy that everybody's going to look at and go, okay, we got to be careful with this guy.
Yeah.
Doer. So that's a potent lineup.
A potent lineup that, I'm not a historian like Scott Clendenin and Bronny and Richard. I don't know how close offensively this is to 22, but I just know that this offense gives you a chance to win every single game.
Yeah, it does.
And baseball is baseball. There are going to be games that they're going to score 4 runs. Right. I hope that's the day that the pitching staff looks like Aiden Sims looked the other day.
Yeah, right.
That was so clutch.
You just kept thinking, okay, when they were adding to the leads, that's great because eventually Vanderbilt's going to start hitting and it's going to you're going to have to turn back their offensive surge, and the surge never came. They purged the surge.
What do you think this weekend's going to feel like? I'm just talking and a rowdiness. I guess it's all going to depend on how the baseball team responds, right? If it could be rowdy for the first couple innings, if things don't look good, it's not going to be as rowdy, right? But Do you remember of course you do, the anger, the vitriol right after the College World Series?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then unfortunately last season happens. You get swept by Texas. You don't have a great year. I mean, are people still going to be as angry?
Yes.
Are they going to let people know about it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw on our message board somebody suggesting this is brilliant. They won't do it because, A&M won't. But this was brilliant. They suggested that get Richard Zane to throw out the first pitch.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea. I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Write that.
That's what the second person on the thread said.
Oh, is that right?
That.
Yeah. I would love to see that. Look, this series is important for the reasons we just discussed, but especially considering what is still possible for this team.
Like I said, if you win that series, you start thinking, hey, you know what? I won't even put the whole conference championship thing. It's not out of the question, but I'm saying if you win the series, you know what you start thinking about? You start thinking about hosting.
Mm-hmm.
You start really thinking, okay, this isn't just a hopeful, this is an expectation. Take care of your business, you're going to host.
How many games are left?
I think there's, is it 18? 18 conference games left? Yeah, 18.
Okay. So, and you've got 7 wins, right? 7 conference wins?
Yeah.
What
so if you win that one, if you win the series, let's say they're, 9-6 with 15 to go, I would think you start thinking about hosting.
But let's take care of Friday, then we take care of the rest.
That's right.
Take care of Friday and take care of the rest.
One coach.
Take care of the midweek first.
Maybe more than one coach has said to me before, just one game at a time. Yeah. That's probably been more than one.
I bet you everyone ever says that.
Everyone ever.
Hey, this is TexAgs Live.
And it's brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Thank you for telling me that. I forgot for a moment. We are currently in a place that we call the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason, Jackson, Keith, Morgan, and the boys.
Yeah, that's right.
And girls, women.
This hour has a name. We label it the Go Hour, presented by
The Warehouse at CC Creations.
And right now, having a good old time sitting in the holistic planning.
Cool zone. It is kind of cool here today.
You want to holistically plan, you go with our guys there. And also, if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can call us or text us. But if you call us, we'll pick it up on the
Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline, number 979. I'm dyslexic. 979-693-1150.
Yeah. But you can also text that same number, and magically, we changed the name
to the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line. That's PPE.
979-693-1150. Let's go around the room. We go left to right. We go behind the glass. We go through the television. We say hi to Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you, bud?
I'm good. I'm great. After that Friday for both Aggie softball and Aggie baseball. Aggie baseball, obviously, after a very somber baseball bunch. It was a baseball bunch, by the way, that we're bringing down the mood a little bit.
Was the group that negative? Like I'm trying to.
They weren't negative. Just that's not.
Hey,
the right
I like
spot.
those guys.
Telling it like it is.
Yeah, they were, framing the situation that the team was in, and it didn't look too good at the moment, but they came out and obviously flipped the script, and now things are looking better. In terms of moving the rotation around, I kind of like having Aiden Sims on Sunday because you're going to get what you're going to get on Friday, Saturday, game 1, game 2. And I like Gavin Lyons first out of the pen, too, whether it be behind Sadeo or Moss. He was great both days. So I would understand if they switch it around and Aiden Sims moves to Friday night, but I kind of like him in that rubber game or going for a sweep or preventing a sweep, as we've heard Coach Earley say before.
What about OB's idea of moving Weston Moss, maybe not your complete idea, but alternating Weston Moss and Shane Sadeo?
Don't hate it. Well, Moss has been the better of the two.
Well, I just think that theoretically, your opponent's weakest, if you want to put it that way, starter is throwing on Sunday. So I have a guy who has the ability to be the first day starter, but has some struggles. So it just seems to me that maybe that would be the best matchup if you have a pitcher that's working through some things. I don't know.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Haley Dorsey's in the house. Hello, Haley.
Good morning. How are y'all?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good.
What would you do? with that pitching. What would be your move?
I think Aiden Sims he has the ability to close it out, and I feel comfortable like when he has games like that.
Okay.
So maybe keeping him.
So you want to keep it right the way it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
But him leading off maybe would set the tone for the weekend and Shane on Sunday. So
which one are you going to do? Coach?
Coach Dorsey.
Maybe keeping Sims on Sunday.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. So what's going
on? But a question that's being thrown out right now in the world of college football is the future of the SEC championship game. So I want to know y'all's thoughts on that. Kirby Smart spoke out saying if the college football playoff expands beyond 12 teams, so 16 or 24, then the SEC title game probably has to go. He says he still supports 12 teams, but timing is a big issue. More playoff games would push the season deeper into January, meaning a conference championship might have to go. So would expanding playoffs make the conference championships useless, or would you be losing a really big tradition?
OB, this is a hot button issue for you.
You know, my feeling on it is that I think you're making a mistake if you do away with the conference championship games. And by the way, if you do expand to 16, you don't have to change anything.
Yeah.
As far as the schedule.
But if you go to 24,
if you go to 24, you do. And if you go to 24, eventually you'll go to 32.
You think so?
Yeah. Eventually, somebody's going to come around and say, you know what, this is ridiculous that I have to win X amount of games and you have to win one less. And so, okay, good point. What we'll do is we'll go to 32, and the higher ranked team is going to get a home game for the first two.
What about the reverse? What happens in 20 years? Do they go back to 4?
You know, I don't think they ever go back.
Uh-huh.
You know, have you ever seen them
go back?
Go backwards?
No. That's why, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but the SAVE Act and Trump's recommendations, I just don't know if they'll ever go back.
No.
What do they say? The toothpaste is out of the tube?
Toothpaste out of the tube. Can't put it back in.
Yeah. You know what, though?
What?
I recommend brushing your teeth after 1775, not before. I don't like that bitter taste when I'm eating good barbecue.
Yeah. Plus, you know, let's face it. When I'm eating barbecue,
You're going messy.
I'm going full scale, and I'm gonna have some juice on my fingertips.
That's true.
And probably some meat in my between my teeth. So I got to get in there and brush it out.
You got to get a floss, right?
You know what? It's so good, I might just leave it in there for a while.
Right, if you floss, you have a second dinner.
I could floss it and just eat it. Okay. Because it's that good. I'm not that gross. It's just that good. That succulent brisket.
That's the best commercial ever. The food is so good that you eat the food in your teeth after flossing.
Again, it's great. That good.
Redo 1775.
Go get you some of that succulent brisket. Some of those amazing pork ribs.
Yeah.
You know?
The queso mac and cheese, not as good when you do that.
But
because there's smaller particles.
Plus, it probably, goes down your throat easier. You probably digest it quicker.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't get stuck in your teeth as much.
I'm going to move on. 979-492-6241, 1775txbbq.com. It's 1775.
And it's good.
And we're back here on the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. David Nuño, Olin Buchanan here on Monday, April the 6th. April 6th, right?
April 6th.
2026.
Yeah. My son's got less than a month of class left.
Gonna get emotional?
Probably around graduation time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will too, because my boys are graduating high school, but because they're going to be down the street, not as emotional, I think, as if they were leaving, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but still something about watching them graduate high school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When my son graduated, one row behind me and about 3 seats to my left was the Duke head football coach.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You say hello?
You know what? I didn't. I started to, and I thought, this is a day that just let a family enjoy what's going on without feeling like they have to talk to somebody. Yeah, that Duke football coach was pretty good at it too.
Yeah,
he was a pretty good football coach.
Very good football coach. Hey, this is TexAgs Live. OB, we got a question on the text line. Let's go to Haley Dorsey at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, because somebody wants to know about the running backs. Haley, take it away.
David said, could you give me a breakdown, please, of the Aggies running backs for the fall and how they will possibly catch more or less passes now with their new offensive coordinator?
So, Reuben Owens and Jamarian Morrow are your two dudes, right?
Yeah, but I really like what I'm seeing from Tiger Ryden.
Yeah, Tiger Ryden looks good.
And this KJ Edwards.
KJ Edwards, yeah.
They'll bring him along slowly, but I don't want to. I'm saying qualities. There's some Devon A-Chain qualities in that young man.
Yeah, Carson Baker as well, another freshman. Look, one thing that I will say about this group is not a lot of veteran depth, right? Because they're old. Reuben Owens is the old guy, right? Mm-hmm. And he's earned his time. Jamarian is just a sophomore. Mm-hmm. Handful of, he played well last year.
Looked good when he was in there.
Looked very good. And then the rest are a bunch of young players.
Yeah, about the, I can't put a number on how many passes they're going to catch, but I'll say this. I do expect them to throw to the running backs because, frankly, we've seen Reuben Owens as a good receiver out of the backfield. I think, didn't he have a really big catch and a touchdown drive on like a third down against Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Got him like inside the 5 maybe. And then I think I remember him having was it a catch for a touchdown against Missouri? If not for a touchdown, I think I remember a good catch out of the backfield. And Jamarian Morrow, of course, he scored on a screen against LSU.
They just showed it right there. Yeah.
And I think he also caught one in the flat against, in the left flat going toward the south end zone. He caught it. I want to say South Carolina, but it probably wasn't South Carolina.
I know part of this is the Moffitt effect, but when I interviewed Morrow last week in studio, he looked like he'd been lifting.
Yeah, he's put on some
but like mass. Good muscle weight, right? Not like slow you down muscle weight, like Le'Veon-esque kind of build, like maybe even a little bit more muscular at this point in Le'Veon's career. Le'Veon's a big, strong back, no doubt. But Morrow, I just think, to me, it looks like a physical transformation in a short amount of time.
But I'm telling you, everybody, Tiger Ryden, don't forget. First of all, he's really good in pass protection. That's one of the things that'll keep you off the field as a running back if you're not good in pass protection. But I've watched him run hard and break some tackles. So don't sleep on the Tiger.
Yeah, and he also asked,
keep your eye on the Tiger. I figured you'd like that.
I do like that. Haley, he also asked about how the offense is going to look different under Holman Wiggins, and I don't know if am I right about that? I think he asked that.
Yes, how the RBs will fall and how they will possibly catch more or less passes.
I could see them catching more.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, that's such a hard, like, we can tell you some of the things we've seen in a practice setting, but that is not, that I don't know how that translates to game day play calling, right?
Yeah, and quite frankly, look, we're going to run some screens. Yeah, do I like the idea of Jamarian Morrow with the ball in his hand in the open field?
No.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Or Reuben, yeah. So I think they'll throw to him. I don't know that I can go in there and say, you know what, I think Reuben Owens is going to catch 20 passes out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
So And maybe he will, but when I watch them, I really think the tight ends are going to be are better as pass receivers than the guy they had last year.
Yep.
No offense, Nate Bokacher, thank you, but I just see Richie Anderson, Houston Thomas as guys that's going to be able to catch the ball and do something with it after they catch it. And then the receivers. I think the receiving core, even without KC, is probably the strength of the offense.
Stop me if I've told you this before. Actually, don't stop me. Let me keep talking. These guys that they're bringing in, not only do they seem to be excellent from a talent perspective, there hasn't been one turd who's walked into the studio this year. And I mean that with a lot of respect. Like, these guys are respectful. They're early. They're all the things that, like, I don't know if you remember this. There was a time where the Texans, they were known as they only got good guys on their team. And people would be like, but they're not winning any games. I don't care if you're a bad dude. Like, win games, right? I get it, right? I would prefer good dudes that win. That should be a shirt. Good dudes that win, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I feel like Elko's done a phenomenal, like, and Nick, pipe in on here. You've met a bunch of these guys. You've seen them. They're early. They're nice. They answer questions. They don't make you feel rushed. I've just been very impressed with the freshmen and the transfers. Nick, agree?
Absolutely, yeah. Big time shift from where we were just a few years ago,
Are we talking specifically about receivers, or is that just everybody?
You name a player that I've interviewed, and we've done this. I don't always do this. Nick and I have a bit where, like, they say something about working out, or they say something about Jocko, they become my favorite player ever, right? Okay. That's kind of our bit. All of them, we come out like, dude, that guy might be my favorite player. Morrow was in here. Dude, that might be my favorite player. Anto Shaka was in here. Dude, that might be my favorite player ever, right? Like, they just keep happening and I'm like, wow, a collection of really good talent and good dudes.
Yeah.
That fits A&M.
I don't think that is a coincidence. I think Mike Elko probably had an idea of talent plus, for lack of a better word, character or whatever. That's overused, but you know what I'm trying to say. And if he didn't have that forever, or even if he did, if he already had that kind of philosophy, it was reinforced when he was the defensive coordinator and saw Jimbo bring in some guys that were very talented, but probably with their way they carried themselves were counterproductive to building a good cohesive team.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised by that. I think it's probably what Mike Elko's plan is anyway.
Sure.
But he just said, see, I saw what happens if you ignore some of the questionable characteristics.
Yeah. And sometimes during the recruiting process, maybe it doesn't show up, but, like, the bottom line is, are they going to win football games, right? If they're a little rude to me, if they have a Greg Popovich attitude, I don't care if you're winning football games, right? Like, to be, and not that Greg Popovich has a shady character. I'm just saying, like, he was not nice sometimes to the media. I don't care. If you win, cool. But if I had my choice, I want a team full of guys and I'm just going to read you some of the people we've interviewed over the last week. Morrow, fantastic. Marcus Radcliffe, been here a couple years now, fantastic. Who else has been here? We just had Jordan Lockhart, fantastic interview. Like, these are great young men.
I would have thought you really liked talking about fitness and weightlifting with Lockhart.
Oh, that and MMA, because his dad is like
he's
coaches.
Breaking out, man.
Mark Naboo, awesome. Yeah. Noah McKell, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and I'm not saying that guys in the past haven't been awesome. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's been a noticeable, like, wow, that's like, you didn't have to coach these guys up in interviews either.
It's been my understanding in the past, there's been guys that, they have a deal part of your NIL getting paid is to do interviews, and they just pay me. I don't want to do the interviews. We've had trouble getting guys in, and that's true.
Well,
right?
they've all been great,
but
now, and I've loved it. Obi, let's hit a break. When we come back, CBS Sports had a bunch of their experts,
Okay.
predict who's going to make the college football playoff Final Four.
Oh, the Final Four.
Final Four. You think anybody picked A&M?
No.
Somebody
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I like this guy.
I hope it wasn't Desmond Howard.
It wasn't Desmond Howard. No.
I think remember why I said that?
Why?
You picked them to win the national championship.
Oh, that's right.
The year
That's right.
They went 5-7.
That's right. All right. We'll talk about that on the other side. All right, Rollo Insurance. That's the group that I use for my insurance. They're the best, right? If you are in the market for new insurance, if you're not in the market for new insurance, maybe you should be. Reach out to the good people at Rollo Insurance because they're going to find you the best insurance situation. If it's a car insurance, if it's ranch insurance, homeowners insurance, you name it, they're going to take care of you. They are hyper local, super local, all around Texas, but their headquarters is on Highway 6 right here in College Station. Jason Jackson and the entire team are going to make sure that you are in the right situation for you and your family. Many of their clients discover better protection at competitive rates simply because they understand all their options, and that's what Rollo Insurance is going to do. They're going to provide you those options. Visit the website, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance. Hey everyone, David Nuño here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Some football talk coming up here, OB. Can I, just for a moment, give a shout-out to A&M Consolidated Girls Soccer?
Of course.
Their season ended on Friday. Very disappointing. They lost to Smithson Valley 2-0. Very even game, but that team hit their shots. A&M Consolidated, unfortunately, did not. A couple of goals were robbed, by the way. Some officiating blunders. But that being said, it was a great season. I had so much fun watching Annalise. I think she started 8 games for them. But I think 9 juniors and seniors are graduating and moving on to play college. So that team's going to look completely different. But it was fun to watch. So Coach Blakely,
so
congrats
Annalise
on
will probably be starting all the games next year.
I hope. I mean, she's a pretty good little player. She can play from the back pretty well. But it was a fun season. So shout out to all the players, Jolie and
congratulations on a great season.
Riley and Berkeley. And they had a bunch of players that have done good stuff. And so I appreciate them. But the future, Annalise, Emily Claire, Aubrey, Anastasia, they got some good freshmen and Kylie. They got some good players in the future. So shout out to them. Just a quick moment for A&M Consolidated.
Just reload, Tigers.
Reload. That's what they do. Hey, speaking of reloading, is A&M football going to reload into the college football playoffs again? That's a question we don't know the answer to. But CBS Sports has their list of teams that they feel will make the college football playoff Final Four.
Okay.
And I think we've probably interviewed him before, but David Cobb. He has his Final Four picks as Notre Dame.
Okay.
Ohio State.
All right.
Texas.
Okay.
And Texas A&M.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Let me guess. We're playing Texas.
You know what would be really fun? Well, if it was Texas A&M for the national championship, and of course A&M wins.
Does that mean A&M beats them twice in a year?
Heck yeah. Actually, it'd be more fun if Texas didn't even get in the playoff. But okay, as long as Texas A&M. Look, I would say that I think A&M has the capability.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be very similar to what they were last year. And last year, people, they lost their last 2 games. They played Miami. It's 3-3 with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Maybe less. So that's how close that game was.
Can I read this line?
Yeah, I want you to. Offensive line and defensive line is the key.
It's just all I've heard is negative stuff about Marcel, but check out what they said. What David Cobb says: Texas A&M returns a Heisman Trophy contender at quarterback in Marcel Reed. While there are questions on defense, head coach Mike Elko is a man who can find the answers. But the way I've seen most people position Marcel as more as a question mark, this guy says, "Hey, this guy was a Heisman Trophy contender. Let's go."
I mean, he was. It wasn't, and again, that wasn't us saying it. It was guys like Josh Payton, some other national guys before the Texas game.
So some of the other predictions, Brad Crawford has Miami, Notre Dame, Texas, and Texas Tech.
Okay.
We're going to see a theme here. Like Notre Dame, I believe they play nobody next year.
Oh, they got a cakewalk schedule.
Texas Tech plays nobody next year, right?
In the Big 12.
All right. Tom Fornelli, Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Oregon.
Okay.
Okay. Notre Dame again because of that schedule. And I think Marcus Freeman is a good coach. I shouldn't take completely things away from them. Chris Hummer, Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas.
Okay.
Shahan says Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas, and Texas Tech.
Huh. Texas Tech.
Texas Tech got a lot of love. Brandon Marcello, Georgia, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Cody Nagel, the last one.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan.
Interesting.
Cody Nagel's got Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oregon. I feel like everybody picked Notre Dame. Am I right?
Well, yeah. Well, again, the schedule is a cakewalk. They probably really like C.J. Mims. I don't know. I got to admit, I don't know what I said. C.J. Mims. I meant C.J. Carr.
C.J. Carr. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It went over my head when you said.
Yeah, I meant Carr. So their quarterback is back. I don't know. Look, they're in the playoff. I'm telling you right now, their schedule's a cakewalk. But
here's what I question about an easy schedule. I think Notre Dame, talent-wise, is in that mix that they should be in the playoffs regardless of schedule. That being said, when you don't take on that level of talent, how ready are you for the playoffs?
Well, they're.
Because I think Texas Tech is in the same category, right?
They're going to be fine as far as that's concerned. I just wonder. Look, I heard that all year long, the greatness, and I'm not disputing it, of Jeremiah Love. Okay, he's not around anymore. All right, their receivers, did they bring in somebody different? That's, oh my gosh, Notre Dame got this guy. Maybe they did, and I just missed it. But I've always thought their receiving core is, it's solid.
Yeah.
The defense, is their defense going to be great? I do like Leonard Moore at corner. I'm sure they have. I'm not saying they're going to be bad, but maybe they're going to be Final Four. But I just wonder, if I covered Notre Dame, I'd know more about what they are, right? I guess their offensive line is supposed to be tremendous. They're usually really good in the offensive line, but really good may not be good enough. I'm not questioning that they're in the that they're going to be good and in the playoff. I just wonder why everybody thinks it's why they're a consensus pick for the Final Four.
When it comes to Texas, while I do believe from a talent perspective, they should be considered one of the 4 best teams in football from what I've seen so far. We'll see how it plays out. I think this year's schedule, again, if we're going to talk about A&M's schedule being hard, I think Texas has a very difficult schedule. Do you have that by any chance, Nick? Can you put up their schedule? I mean, obviously, anytime you take on Ohio State, it's going to be difficult. But Ohio State, on the first half of the season, just Ohio State's what would worry me, because I think we both agree Tennessee is not going to be the same level of team. It is on the road. Oklahoma, they've owned them the last few years.
Yeah, but that's a rival game. It's going to be difficult.
And then we'll see what Florida is. They go to LSU. They go to A&M. So
yeah.
I mean, they got a difficult schedule.
And Missouri's one of those teams like Florida last year. They'll be better than Florida was last year, I think. And I know it's in Austin, but Missouri's one of those teams you better be ready to play.
Yeah.
And if there's a couple of games that you're not ready to play, they should have lost to Mississippi State last year. There's a couple of games if you're not ready to play, and they're still learning in the SEC. It's you very likely lose, like their game against Florida. My question about Texas primarily is going to be on their defense. Mm-hmm. How good are they going to be? And they're going to tell you. I would need somebody like Cedric Golden or Kirk Bowles to tell me what they think, because their fans will always say, "Oh, they're going to be great. This guy's this guy's that." And you're like, okay. And then a lot of times they're not. I don't have any questions about Arch. He proved himself. I do have some question about Cam Coleman. We talked about this last week. Cam Coleman will be playing with the best quarterback he's ever played with. And so I don't want to put too much on Cam Coleman. Cam Coleman had like 18 yards of receiving against Texas A&M last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's. I know you're saying, okay, yeah, not you're saying, but people say, yeah, but look at the athletic ability. Yeah, no doubt about that. But if you look at the career, again, fully acknowledging that his quarterbacks may have retarded his development somewhat. Well, that's a. I didn't call him that.
I didn't say. I just laughed. You don't have to explain. I just laughed. She laughed at earlier in a comment, and she didn't have to explain. We understood. I just laughed.
I used the word correctly. Anyway,
I didn't say you didn't.
Anyway, may have stunted his growth somewhat.
There you go.
But up until now, his career has not been. He has not been an elite receiver. So we'll see if he becomes one.
Remember when people said Evan Stewart's numbers were low because of the quarterbacks that he had at A&M? Mm-hmm. He's coming back to Oregon this year, right? I think he's coming back. So we'll see how his numbers look this year, a couple years removed from A&M. But I do think the quarterback absolutely plays a part in when Peyton Thorne is the best quarterback you've played with.
It's true.
Yeah. Let's hit a break. We'll come back. We'll get to some text messages. We'll finish up the Go Hour here in the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. Right now, Milliken Reserve Farm to Table Community in College Station, right down on Wellborn. If you're coming from Kyle Field, just look on your left-hand side. If you're coming down Highway 6 from Houston, Look on your left-hand side, you'll see Milliken Reserve. It's all over the place. It starts close to Navasota, works its way through the South College Station, 2,600 acres of open space. They've got 30 miles of trails. They've got beautiful homes, and they have an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape, that includes walking and equestrian paths, creeks and ponds, and gathering areas. It is a place committed to maintaining and restoring that natural habitat. When you go there, you're going to love it. Love being outdoors. It's a place to come reflect and relax, to explore and to discover. You can go hiking there, biking, canoeing, kayaking, you name it. They have all the activities. It's a great place just to be outdoors with your family. Check out the website, MillikenReserve.com. That is MillikenReserve.com. Check it out. And we're back. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Coach Earley's in the lobby, so he's here early. We will chit-chat with him and Bronny here in just a few minutes.
Who's here early?
Michael Earley.
So Early's early?
Early's early.
Okay.
I love people that are early.
Jimmy two times.
Jimmy two times.
Coach is early.
Keep going.
Early.
Let's go.
Oxen free.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Dorsey, give us something to chew on.
Jim wants to know, with I'm sure a lot of us do, why Notre Dame still gets special treatment. They're still not in a conference, averaging 79,000 in attendance and number 15 in TV ratings last year. Why are they the exception?
That's a good question, because I think Notre Dame's only as powerful as the rest of college football allows them to be.
I thought it was a great environment last year.
Yeah, it was.
It was good. They didn't play anybody last year. I mean,
well, the Aggies.
They played the Aggies in Miami. Yeah, they played 2 games.
And they play USC. And I think it's USC trying to get out of that game because Lincoln Riley doesn't like competition. But I agree. Why make any kind of concessions to Notre Dame? I think it's like if Notre Dame's in the top 12, they're guaranteed to be in the playoff no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Can't leave them out. And typically, look, if you're in the top 12, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get in. Last year was one of the times you didn't. But beat Miami then, you know?
If you could redo, knowing what we know now, the playoffs, who would have been left out? Because Miami absolutely deserved it, especially what we saw them do.
Well, quite frankly, it's typical of college football and the way they do things. So now they've gone back and say, well, they wouldn't have had James Madison then.
Yeah.
You know, but they had to because of their own rules.
But based on those rules, Oklahoma, Bama won their playoff game, so I feel like they kind of earned their stay.
Yeah, probably Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think it would be Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't leave Texas Tech out. I don't think Texas Tech should have been seeded as high as they were. I think A&M should have been seeded.
Yeah, I think A&M should have been the 4 seed.
Yeah.
And, you know, that doesn't necessarily change what it would have felt different, right? Like,
well, I just always come back to if the you know records are the same, you know, who'd you beat and who'd you lose to?
Yeah.
A&M had a better win. I mean, Texas Tech didn't beat anybody better than Notre Dame. And A&M's loss was to Texas on the road. And who did Texas Tech? Arizona State?
Yeah.
And see, our quarterback was hurt. That's why it's a team, baby.
Yeah.
That's why
I like
it's a team.
that. Add the word baby.
That's why it's a team, baby.
DW says, shout out to Josh Holloway. Dude balled out versus Houston. Hope he finds somewhere to start. Yeah, he went to the transfer portal over the weekend, or he's announced he's going to be going in the portal. I like Josh Holloway. I thought he played great in the tournament.
Wish nothing but the best for him.
Gives A&M an opportunity to upgrade, and it gives him an opportunity to go find a place where he can play more.
Yeah. Good luck to you, Josh. Thank you for your services.
We went through the whole hour and didn't mention UConn versus Michigan.
Yeah, tonight, who are you taking?
I think I'm taking UConn.
Okay, I'll take Michigan.
Okay.
But Utah, man, they just know how to play when it matters most.
Yeah. Did you catch the Geno and Don Staley thing?
Yeah. Geno made himself look like an idiot.
Yeah. But I like Geno.
I do too. I just think he made himself look like an idiot.
Yeah. Did you like his apology?
Yeah, like almost anybody's apology. Now he needs to call Dawn.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, unlike sometimes you do something wrong. You know, at least call the person that you offended and apologize.
He might have been right about why he was upset, but the timing made it look like sour grapes.
Yeah,
right?
Don't take it out on the coach. You're mad at the official, right?
Well, and he made her wait or whatever. He waited for her pregame. Opie, thank you, buddy.
Yep.
When we come back on TexAgs Live, Michael Earley, Ryan Brauninger. We'll get to that. A little baseball talk for the next half hour. Then JD PicKell after that. You're listening to the world-famous TexAgs Live. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program, Baseball Chat with Ryan Brauninger in studio. We're joined by head coach Michael Earley of your A&M baseball team. Coach Earley, hope you had a great Easter. How are you, sir?
I did. I hope you did as well.
Thank you, man. So Thursday, you said you had no doubt that this team would respond. They certainly did respond on Friday. Just overall thoughts on what we saw Friday and what this means moving forward.
Yeah, I think what I like about our guys and just their understanding of the game is like we do play a series. The series does dictate whether you win or lose, but we do play 3 games, right? And it's about just attacking each game as its own. You're not playing Friday thinking about Sunday or Saturday. And I felt good about our guys going into a doubleheader. Number one, like I just like where they're at. I like their mindset, and yeah, man, it's baseball. You can't get too high, too low, and they've done a really good job of that. So I had no reason to believe that it would be nothing but their best effort, but clean baseball, and they played really well.
To me, the biggest challenge was you get bloodied on Friday, and you swing the bat, on Thursday. You guys swung the bat really well, but you just kept having to overcome these deficits, and that can be demoralizing to an offense. Was there any kind of trepidation in your brain about, man, like every time that we get like a punch back in this game, they punch us back, and at some point, like it's unsustainable maybe feeling?
Well, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to score.
Yeah.
It's hard to continue to score, and usually that's why they just did it a little more than us. So it's like, especially when you're from behind, right? You feel a little bit of you can feel, if you let it affect you, a little bit of momentum. I thought our guys did a good job of keep pounding back. They just threw some of their better arms and kind of kept us under control. But yeah, for sure. I mean, playing behind in any sport, but especially our sport, that's extremely difficult. And there's so many outcomes, and you can hit it really hard and still make it out. Yeah, but we just try to truly, truly like play each pitch as its own. And it's tough, but that's how you have to play.
Yeah, and I think one of the bigger stories of the weekend, and you've been extremely patient, you've said over and over again, like it's coming for Bear. Like it's coming. Yeah. The backside homer was like, that was the best swing probably he's had at Texas A&M. Was there any indication that Bear was moving this direction, like that you were able to see that maybe the fans weren't?
I felt it in Missouri, just with the swings he was putting on pitches, his takes, the pitches he was hitting, and then he said he had this feel of like he was pulling the ball to right center field, which for baseball people, they might understand that. For someone else, it just something he had. I'm like, that sounds great, man. And it looked like he did a couple times. But yeah, Bears, I said it a couple days ago. I said he has so many walks and a hit by pitches. He's back-to-back 2-hit games away from hitting 275. I think he's hitting like 270 right now.
Yeah.
With still the highest on base percentage on the team and probably the highest OPS or close to it. I'm not sure. But yeah, I just liked where he was at, and just like the swings he was putting on in the games before where he had like limited results.
And also Gavin, been really, really good for the last, he's been really good all year, but in terms of the power numbers are really coming around. And now that he's doing it, everybody's going, man, like Grahovic's having a great year. Well, he's been having a great year, but then you look at what Bear and Boston are doing. When you and Cliff Pennington sat down to construct the lineup, and like from the very get-go, you guys were talking about like the ideal lineup we think has Bear in the 8 and Boston in the 9. Is this kind of what you envision whenever, like this was in January?
Yeah. We just thought their style of hitter and what they, Boston's a freshman, but he gave us all he was like, thought about him at leadoff or 9 just because of the on-base part of it. Thought it was more fair to him as a freshman to stay down there, not to thrust him in it, but he kind of provides a great bridge to the top of the order. And we really thought his plate awareness, he was going to get on base. And he's super competitive, right? He's not getting out of the way if he gets hit by a pitch. Like he's going to battle in his at-bats. And Bear, same thing. Like we really thought he could get on base. And we thought Bear added a power element when it started to click. So it has worked out exactly as we hope, and honestly, a little bit more than we thought it would.
And then Chris. So Chris really struggling, beating balls like early in the ground contact to the pull side a bunch. And I thought his last at bat of game 1 of the doubleheader got him back on the baseball. I think he peppered a ball on the barrel to right center field. And then the first swing of game 2 of the doubleheader is a no doubt homer. Is it something for a guy like Chris? Can it be something that small to get him back on the ball and then he just goes for a while?
Yeah. He's just kind of getting around a couple balls. Like he's fine. I mean, I mean, this is too much. I mean, he was before that home run, he's in the bathroom throwing up and then barely got on deck and then got in and hit a homer. Like, we had a couple guys getting IVs between games. So just shows you, like, to the competitor he is, and maybe that slowed him down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's had a couple situations where he's had some pitches on the outer half. He's just pulling off. And he's getting some middle in, and he's trying to do too much. When he just tries to stay right here in the middle of the field, he actually does a really good job pulling the ball. So just little tiny stuff, but he's still controlling the strike zone and still like a really tough at-bat.
Aiden Sims, 117 pitch complete game. As you're watching it kind of unfold, what's the internal dialogue of like how long we let him go? And obviously he had it to finish.
He was feeling great. He was looking great. All the metrics were great. We were at 110, but then it just got to that. That would have been his last hitter, the last guy. Like he looked over and he was good and nothing, man. He was awesome. Like, what a great job by him, filling up the strike zone, a lot of different pitches, limiting hard contact. He just completely just overwhelmed them with just some different stuff, man. He did so good.
Well, and I'm not going to ask you about if you're going to play with the rotation. That's something for you and your coaches to decide, especially this early in the week. But what is the dialogue amongst you and JK, with Shane, and how do you? Is it some overhaul? Is it just him coming back off of Tommy John so there's inconsistencies with feel and shape? Like, because Weston, I thought, and especially knowing Weston was dealing with some dehydration, he really battled, like really did. Yeah. Shane, we both think, and we both know there's better in there.
Well, I mean, I think you see better in every game, and then you see two different guys. You saw the first batter of the game.
Yes.
The slider, he's been working on having the slider get more depth. It's not a secret that I don't want anyone to know. It's pretty standard baseball. It's a little bit too here. We're trying to get it here, and it was. And actually, the second guy that hit the homer, that wasn't a bad pitch. The ball's middle end down to a righty, and then it's just being consistent with it. So I think you can look at Shane two different ways. You see him absolutely dominate guys, and he's just in a situation right now where like whenever he's made a mistake, it's like not a rollover, not a fly out. It's a homer.
We were talking about that last week. It's like there is some element of like Shane is getting you should have outcomes where it's like they hit balls right at us. Or like we throw a ball down the middle and they miss-hit it.
He's not getting that.
He ain't getting any of that.
It's like a hitter who's lining out. But yeah, I mean, Shane, my belief will never change in Shane because it's there. And there is a bit of that coming back. And he is, every single game, he's shown.
He's punching out like 10 dudes.
He's shown that ability. He's also shown the ability of like, we're not there yet. But he's still getting us kind of where we need to. We just need to keep the runs down a little bit.
And then you have to be super proud of Gavin Lyons because he got blitzed on Thursday. And you run him back out there on Friday just off of belief, and then the first two hitters get hits. And after that, I don't know that he allowed one for a while.
He did a great job. Yeah, he's good, man. Gavin wants to pitch. Like he'll throw 50 in a game and come tell us he's ready to go. And just like he tries to stand so close to me during the game. he's competitive and he wants to pitch. So like, short memory, got back out there. Like I'm sure he probably didn't sleep at night. Like he probably wanted to get out there. He wanted to throw again. So he's just super competitive and he's done a really good job.
Let's stay on the pitching. You mentioned a couple of guys were close to coming back from injury, and Luke Billings and Hunter Bond. Any update there?
Bond would have been available for an inning. Ideally, it wouldn't have been on the weekend, so we didn't have to use him. And then Luke it's going to be sometime this week.
And you anticipate probably midweek for those guys in their first action? Or do you think either one of them can help you on the week?
We don't really have the luxury of spoon feeding anyone. You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is. So it could be Tuesday, it could be the weekend, could be not at all. Just kind of depends. So I'm not putting a game on it. I don't care that we're playing Texas State or that we're playing Texas. It's like you got to pitch, you got to pitch.
Outs are outs.
Outs are outs. And I mean, Luke's one of those guys I think we've gotten robbed of seeing. I think he's got one at bat, but Luke Billings we hear about all these freshmen we have. Like, the guy's a pretty big time player, right? He's just not playing yet, so you don't know about him, but he's a two-way player. And on the mound, I mean, you saw him in the fall. Like,
it's good. Yeah,
it's good, right?
He can help you for sure.
He's going to help us. He's going to be a guy you're going to hear more about, hopefully through this season and as he gets older. But Luke Billings is a ball player.
Weston Moss, Friday he gave you exactly what you needed. He had the length. How important was that to kind of set a tone for both games?
I just think how he handled the first inning set the tone for the whole game. Like it completely could have changed the whole outlook of the day because there's some momentum in baseball. Who knows? But like it just felt like they get 2 guys on, and you're like, come on, man. And then he punch out 3 in a row, and from that moment on, I think we led the rest of the day. And it was just like he needed that, I think, too, right? Like he's had a little bit of that. He's in the first, they get a couple hits, maybe he's thinking like, here we go, but like I saw him kind of let loose a little bit. I'm like, oh, we're good. Like he's in a good spot. Hit a couple homers. I mean, that team hits a lot of home runs. Like we don't want them to, but they do. They do. They hit a lot of homers. And but on Friday we hit more homers than them. So.
Yeah, I mean, y'all hit a bunch of homers too, and I want to talk about Blake Benderup because had kind of gone through a spell. You're going, all right, is he kind of off it and swinging through heaters in zone? And you're like, man, this when Blake's going good, he's peppering some of these balls, and you show some faith in him after game 1 of the doubleheader where it didn't go great. You start him in game 2, and I thought his 3-run homer was. You can look back at it now and say. But even in the moment, it felt enormous. And you go back and think about it, and you go, that was the end of the game.
Yeah, that was a big one. Like just how it felt, where they were with their pitching and where they could go depending on what the score was, because they still had those guys they could have brought back from Thursday. He was just getting under the ball, like where he was turning with his body in the first game and kind of how he was angled. We didn't even work on it. We just kind of talked about it in between games, and he got that fastball up and really got on top of it. But yeah, he's done a good job, and I thought he had earned. You can have a bad game. It's baseball, right? Yeah. And he got back in there, and he had a really great swing after the homer.
Oh yeah,
to right field. I thought that's the best swing he's taken all year on a cutter. So he's in a good spot. He's doing a good job of, kind of staying right here. Right, he'll go up a little bit, down, but he's just been really consistent.
Yeah, and that was one of he fought that his whole career here up to this point was like the highs and the lows were there was a big gap between them, and now if you can get him flying kind of even, what he can produce. Like when he's on the barrel, it's loud.
Yeah, I mean Blake's a big, long guy, right? Like it takes some time for guys like that, and I'm not saying he's there yet or a finished product because he's definitely not, but there's no timetable on development, right? It happens when it happens. You just got to keep pounding it, and you get there when you get there, and sometimes you never do, but he's worked super hard, and it's all him, man. Like this guy continues to work and work and work, and yeah, not a finished product, not going to get too high, not too low, but he's been good.
It was cool because he was rounding the bases after that home run, and Coach Elko's down in the third base box, and Coach Elko has been around Blake a long time. He and Blake and Mikey Elko are still very, very close. And so Coach Elko
he was hitting at the facility over break.
Yeah. And so Coach Elko is celebrating that home run almost like Mikey hit it. It was really, really cool because he's known Blake for so long. But you talk about development, and nobody's got a timeline on it. All right, so talk us through Jorian's development.
Keep Coach Elko away from that one. Huh? He looks pretty good. Don't you think? He's a good player. He's doing a good job, man. He's having good at bats. Like
he's learning.
He's learning. He's having good at bats. He's hitting balls hard. The talent is undeniable. Undeniable. He's still got to continue to get better.
Which play was your favorite? I mean, he runs over the guy at first base. That really he ran through the bag as a bad throw. But like the game he didn't homer, or on Friday he didn't homer at all. But like he had all the stuff that stood out. You're like, that's different.
Yeah. No, I don't remember if it was Friday or Thursday though. He had the backside hit.
114. That was Thursday.
Yeah, like he's good, man. He's just got to keep him in the right spot, mentally. Not that he's great mentally, but we just got to put him in the right spots, but he's earned it. I mean, he changes our lineup, right? And he's the ceiling is again. It's like Sorrell as a freshman, right? Stuck him down in like the 6 or 7 hole, kind of just let him play around. What helps Jorian is we have a really good lineup.
Yeah.
So we're able to plug him there. So he's good, man.
I would assume this is easier, and maybe not easy for a team than it is for fans, but how do you keep the guys focused on we got this game on Tuesday, and then we'll worry about the next
tough game on Tuesday.
Yeah,
really
very tough game.
I think being on the road helps too. Yeah. You're not just we've been at home a lot. Kind of gets monotonous. What you do, you eat the same food, you do the same stuff. So it's kind of like, let's get out of here a little bit, right? Let's get out of here. Let's go play. I'm sure they're going to have a great crowd there. So we don't I mean, we don't get too caught up in looking ahead. I mean, I don't think we do. I think we do a good job of taking every day, a day at a time. It also helps that we've already had a couple of days off, so we'll practice today, where usually on Mondays you don't. And we'll get back in the swing of things today. And, I mean, Texas State's really good. They got a really good team, good players, and we had a tough game against them last time, and they've been playing really well.
And then tomorrow night in San Marcos, any idea how you're going to try to piecemeal 9 innings together on the mound?
One pitch at a time. One inning at a time. Yeah, I mean, we got our usual suspects, and I mean, we same guys we've been using, and then if we can get Hunter in there, and if Luke is ready, try to get him in there. But it's going to be what the game calls.
Coach Earley, we appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. We'll hit a break. We'll come back a little bit more with Brauninger on the other side. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And we're back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Ryan Brauninger in studio with us as we continue our baseball chat.
Well, I got a story for you real quick. Let's just want to see how you would react in this scenario.
All right.
Okay, you are in the gym. You're on a plate-loaded machine. Okay. Each arm working individually, again, by itself.
Plate-loaded bicep machine?
No, plate-loaded overhead press. Let's just say it's that. Okay. You got a lot of weight on there. Like, for whatever you think a lot of weight is for you.
Yes, relative, but yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So you got a lot of weight on there, and you're laying down, and you can't see the sides. Somebody comes and takes one of the weights off before your set starts. And this is heavy weight. Unless they take off like a 10.
Okay. You can kind of tell there's something, hey, this doesn't feel right.
Right. But you're doing like sets of 5. So you're really having to press.
Okay.
Do you think that's okay? They do that right before you start?
Not for people who take things serious. No, I don't. I don't think it's
so
okay.
You think somebody that would do that would probably think that like this was like the Fort Bend Kempner High School gym?
Yeah, somebody who would do that and probably stood back and videoed it and showed his buddies on Snap, I would assume.
Yeah, and then whenever, the set, I finally realized what happened. I put it down, I stood up, and I said, don't do that anymore. It's like, oh, Mr. Overreaction. Here we go. Everybody in the gym's going to know. I was like, just don't do that. Like, you can mess with me. I don't care. But don't, like, I'm getting ready to lift something heavy. Don't start pulling weights off right before I start and I can't see.
This person, whoever it may be, I think gets very defensive when other people get defensive.
Yes.
He's very defensive about you being defensive.
It's an interesting tactic.
Yeah.
It's, very interesting.
You know what? I'm not a big believer in messing with my workout. Just let me do my work. I'm just there to get work in.
And he was like, well, it's individual arms. Like, I don't care that it's I'm getting in my mind to like, I've got to really get after this. And then when I get started, I'm like, something don't feel right. I'm wondering if I got something wrong with me. And it's just etiquette. It's just gym etiquette. Like, just don't mess with somebody when they're about to start lifting heavy weight.
Oh, if he's listening at 10:09 when this person walks in the studio, maybe 10:11, I'm sure he'll have a thought or two.
His version of the story will probably sound very different than mine. The listeners can decide.
I actually think I did hear this story on Friday, potentially, but I heard part of it. Like I was walking by whenever that happened. All right, Brian, I'm going to start with you baseball-wise. The same thing that I started with Coach Earley, the response. And I think the response is important because this team now through a couple of seasons has had these, look, we know they need to go further than they did last year. And we want to see much more success. But I think there's been several points in this year or last year that you could look at and be like, I don't know how they're going to come back from this. And they find ways to not just come back, but they respond with like this impressive outing. They did it last year against Tennessee. They did it just this weekend. Different level of competition, but still, what was at stake was just as important.
Well, I think the last thing I said on Friday during the baseball hour was we're talking about this team after they got beat 14-8. We're talking about them too often like they're a 15-14 club. At that point, they were 23-6. Now they're 25-6. Like they got an enormous. I'm talking about an enormous next 11 or 12 games. Like, going to determine their season.
Yeah.
You look at home against Texas, on the road against LSU, on the road against Florida, and then the midweeks that you have baked into that. This is a really tough stretch of games, but they're 25-6. Like, they've got warts. Everybody in the country's got a little wart. Even Georgia looks like Georgia and UCLA right now. You put their resumes up, they look like the best two teams in the country. To have Texas and Georgia Tech right there behind them. But everybody is looking at their team, maybe outside of UCLA and Georgia, and going, man, we have a problem here, okay? And A&M's looking at it the same way. You got a massive response by the pitching staff. Like the offense, they scored 8 runs on Thursday night. So they score 8 runs again on Friday game 1, and then they get 12. So they average just over 9 runs a game. That's what they've been doing. This is a really good offense. Through 31 games, this is a really good offense. Now, they're going to face better pitching starting Tuesday night against Texas State. They're pretty good on the mound. Then we obviously know that Texas is really good on the pitcher's mound. So they're going to face really good starting pitching and relief pitching against Texas and at LSU and then at Florida. Like all 3 of those pitching staffs have frontline guys that are going to get drafted very, very high in the upcoming draft. So the offense is going to get tested. So I don't think that you can maintain 9.5 runs per game, which is what they're scoring right now in the SEC. But you also felt good about the offense responding. It was the questions marks have been around what's the pitching going to do? and you get a Weston Moss who was sick the night before and dehydrated. He goes up there and guts it out, especially after Coach Earley was exactly correct. The start of that game could have gone real south real quick, and he righted the ship after two leadoff singles at first and third and no outs. And I think they scored. Did they score that inning? I don't know that they scored after the first two guys reached in the first inning in game one on Friday. So Weston Moss and Gavin Lyons were as big of a storyline this weekend as Bear Harrison and Aiden Sims to me because of the response on the mound. And you start trying to make decisions about Shane Sadeo. Do you keep him there? Do we keep it as is? Do we go with an opener? Do we move him back in the rotation? That is the question that I think the staff is going to pour over this week. But there's something about like Aiden Sims on Sunday.
I like him on Sunday.
I like him a lot on Sunday. So I don't know that I would mess with that. The only team that I've seen that has a Sunday starter that is in his caliber is who you're going to see this weekend in Texas and Dylan Volantis.
Right.
But even still, like he's going to give you a really good shot to win each and every Sunday. And because of what they've done so far through 4 weekends in the league, I think that Sunday games are going to, like, you don't get 2 wins for winning on Friday and 1 on Sunday. They count the same.
Yeah.
So I think that is a very interesting storyline to follow with this pitching staff is what do they do with Sadeo? And I'm of the belief, and the numbers bear it out. Like Coach Earley said, he's been as bad as you want to say he's been. Sure, that's what the total lines look like. But within those starts, like he's striking out a lot of guys. And so I talked to 2 pro scouts and asked them about Shane, and they're like, it's just some inconsistencies in pitch shape as he's returning from injury. That's at least what they attribute it to.
Yeah.
Like, and I sat behind the plate during his start on Thursday, and there's just not a lot of wiggle to the fastball. Like it used to kind of explode and take off to the arm side. It's just not getting that. And sometimes Ryan Brauninger went through this a little bit last year, where like he'd throw some fastballs and you could just listen to it, and it's not impacting the mitt like it should. Like I don't care what the radar gun says. Like how is the ball impacting Bear Harrison's mitt? It doesn't sound like it should. Like it doesn't sound like Shane normally sounds.
Right.
So that tells me that he's probably still working through some stuff to get back to his old self. Now, in the meantime, how do you help him and help your ball club? Is it keep going back out there in game 1 and hoping that it starts to turn around? I don't think that's the craziest thing. I would like to see what would happen with an opener where the opponent has to prepare for somebody other than Shane from the get-go. And, you know, maybe it's Gavin Lyons who goes out there and you try to get him one time through the order, and then here comes Shane. There are some creative things that you can do, and the beauty of it is, I think if you're a coach, is you're like, hey, everybody sees this problem, okay? So if we start throwing some creative solutions at it, nobody's going to go, what are you doing? And I don't think that you ever make decisions based on how people perceive them, but there is some freedom in that. It's like, hey, we're trying to figure this thing out. And if Weston Moss is like, he wasn't just lights out brilliant against Vanderbilt, but he gave you a real good chance to win. And like with this offense, I would take B-
from everybody.
Yeah, like average B- across the board on the mound. I'd take that with this offense and the defense.
Yeah.
They're fielding 982. They are, I think, tops or second in the league in OPS. They're top in the league in on-base percentage. All the stuff that we said that this offense had to do in the offseason, like how is it going to look different from last year? Well, one of the things that I wrote and I said on numerous podcasts and on this radio program plenty, they got to get on first base. Like that's what a Michael Earley offense starts with, is getting on first base. And they're doing that like in a big, big way. So everything that needed to flip from last year on the offensive side has flipped. Now, about to get real tested.
Yeah.
And you're going to see Ruger Riojas, Luke Harrison, Dylan Volantis from Texas. Those are as formidable of 3 starting pitchers as there is in this league. The next weekend, you're going to go Kaysen Evans and William Schmidt on Friday and Saturday for LSU. Both of those guys are going to get picked very high, very, very high. The following weekend at Florida, you're going to go Liam Peterson, who might have the best stuff in the country. Now, he's sprayed the ball, but in terms of raw stuff, he's throwing it over the plate. Good luck. And then you're going to go the Sandefur kid, who I think is SEC Pitcher of the Week this week. So you're getting ready to see 3 real staffs. Again, I don't know if your expectation can't be 9.5 runs against what you're about to see on the pitcher's mound. But I still think this offense is formidable enough that they can get to one of those staffs, maybe not all weekend like they have in some of these, like where they're averaging 9.5 runs, but they can get you for 8 or 9 twice in a weekend. Is that going to be enough on the pitching side for A&M to win games and win a series?
Last thing for you before we hit a break. How rowdy do you think Friday is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about that, Mitt, because I'm of the opinion that for the fans, it'll be rowdy. But for the team, like,
it's just baseball.
This has to be, like, the emotion should have come off of this last year. You know, there are a lot of guys that sit in the dugout that weren't coached by the guy that's in Austin now. Mm-hmm. They really are. So, like, the fans will have some vitriol, and it'll come out, and I'm sure it'll be really rowdy in the ballpark. But to me, for the players, it's like, man, just go play. Like, you don't get extra wins for beating Texas. And I know in the eyes of the fans, like if Coach Earley goes out there and wins that series, it may flip some people that have been negative on Coach Earley. It may flip, but who cares? Like, it's about the end product and where you at end of May and heading into June.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's an important because you want to win SEC home series. But I think, and remember last year before this series, like, the players were like going out of their way to talk about the Penn and Columbia series because you had Hensler and Schott.
Yeah.
And that felt forced, right? And that felt like manufactured to try to avoid the conversation about playing Texas and your former coaches and all that kind of stuff. Now just go play. Just go play.
Right.
Like, baseball, nobody has ever won a baseball game because they could yell louder than the team in the other dugout, because they were better trash talkers than the team in the other dugout. Baseball doesn't lend itself to like vengeance and revenge and anger. Like, just the game doesn't allow that. You have got to, you have like a little bit of extra edge because the crowd will be rowdy and stuff, but you've got to go play. And so I'm hoping that the team is completely sequestered from the fan base in terms of how they are approaching this coming weekend.
Thank you, Brauninger. We'll have a break. We'll come back with JD PicKell on the other side. Right now, if you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what really sets them apart is the 9 CFPs, the CFA, and the CPA all on staff. They take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel really good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call at 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We're joined by JD PicKell of On3, a good friend of the show. JD, what's up, buddy?
David, how we doing, man? And anytime we jump on, I always got to make sure, like, I've been doing my my curls, my tricep extensions. I appreciate you taking it easy today with the long sleeve, man.
Well, I appreciate, man. You've been all over the place recently. Been doing a lot of great intel from spring reports. Let's just start off with A&M. I feel like you're just as high on them this year as you were a year ago. I mean, there's some question marks for sure, but I feel like all teams have question marks.
No, I'm with you, man. Like, I think when you look at A&M and what they were last season relative to what they're going to be this season, I don't see a lot of reason to sell stock. Like, Marcel Reed last year was a talking point for a lot of people nationally when it came to, like, being a governor for A&M and how consistent he needs to be and all those things. And, like, I think you can still feel like Marcel Reed needs to get better while also really trusting the Mike Elko culture now in year 3. Also still trusting what they've done at a roster level. Like, looking at the returning production, I believe they're top 15 in all of college football from a team that made the playoff last year and lost one game in the SEC. Now, we'll see how they do against on paper here in the month of April, more rigorous schedule. But I don't see a lot of reason to sell the Aggie stock as it stands right now, David. I feel pretty good about him.
I don't want to spend too much time on Marcel because I feel like he's too much of a talking point this offseason. But, like, people forget this guy was a Heisman candidate. He's got a lot of places to grow. But what do you think another year of starting, really his second full year of starter, but he did have a couple of starts the year prior. What do you think that does for some of the decision-making late in games?
You'd like to think it just slows everything down. Like my take whenever it comes to returning starting quarterbacks has always been, in any walk of life, whatever your profession is, you get better when you have more time on task and when you have more help around you. Like, I'm sure you could speak to doing the show yourself. Like, as you got more resources around you doing the show, as you got more reps under your belt on the mic, like, you became better at doing what you do now, which is a behemoth at TexAgs. Kind of feel the same way about Marcel Reed now having a full year under his belt. Also, the addition of Isaiah Horton. It's a big boy in the perimeter now, David. Like, that catch radius, I know a lot of people talking about Marcel Reed and his inaccuracies at times whenever he doesn't set his feet. Having him as a safety blanket and having a couple extra inches to go grab the football for him, think that's going to be a good thing. So all that's to say now, I think the trend plus the weapons makes me excited about Marcel Reed here in his, what we're calling it now, like second and a half year as a starting quarterback in College Station. Feel pretty good about him.
JD, one of the things you talked about that I think you're exactly right on is they got a taste. And when you get a taste and you know, as you mentioned, top 15 returning production, you have a roadmap of what it should look like and also maybe where some of your deficiencies were a year ago.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, we were talking about this same thing Mike Elko's first year, because I think everyone was very quick to get the takes off of Texas 8-4, Texas so close. Like that was kind of like the rallying cry for people in Mike Elko's first year. And social media culture, like I call it punchline culture. Everyone wants to have the tweet that gets a bunch of likes and gets retweeted. Everyone wants to be the funny guy in the moment. But when the dust settled on that first year for Mike Elko, I'm like, do we all understand they were one win away from being in the SEC championship game on the final week of the regular season? Like they were that close his first season. And so speaking to them getting a taste, like they kind of got a taste of it in Mike Elko's first year, stayed hungry and ate a lot more in his second year as the head coach. I see no reason why they would have any step back in his third season. If it was a roster thing, maybe I could get behind that. Even if it was a coaching thing, I guess that's maybe the one talking point that would give me the most, I guess, uneasiness. But like speaking to folks in College Station, much like yourself, the way that Mike Elko was anticipating Colin Klein's departure, whether it was for Kansas State or for Oklahoma State or USF, like I think most people realized they weren't going to have Colin Klein calling the offense another year there, so they were able to prepare for that. Feel like that was something that is going to pay massive dividends here in 26 for Marcel's development.
Yeah, I agree. And so with Holman Wiggins calling the shots now, one of the things we saw from this offense last year, when they were sped up, they were much better, especially at the end of games where they were able to move the ball. No Le'Veon Moss, but Reuben Owens put on some strength. What do you think offensively beyond Marcel, how A&M's going to be able to attack teams?
I think it's kind of the same song, second verse of what Colin Klein did. Like I think it's going to be a lot of window dressing, pre-snap movement, but at the end of the day, if Holman Wiggins can just line it up and run the football 40 times a game, like I think they'll do that. I think they'll take their explosive plays off of that. But I think the heart and soul of this team will still be, we think we're more physical than you. We like our running back room more than your defense, and we're going to go ahead and feed them and make sure that they impose their will on you for 4 quarters until you force us to do something different. And so I know there's still replacement pieces on the offensive line. They're going to count a lot on these transfers that you got via the portal. But the thing with me, David, is like all of these guys they got through the portal on the offensive line in an effort to run the football, they're all from the SEC. And so it doesn't guarantee success, but it does guarantee awareness for what the conference is. And so with that being like the context we have around these new pieces up front, I think the tone of the offense will be the exact same when it comes to running the football, and then maybe a little bit more freedom for Marcel Reed as another year in the system to push the football downfield.
JD, we really haven't talked defense, but that's what Coach Elko's calling card is, right? And I think a year 3 of a Coach Elko defense, the secondary looks significantly better. Linebackers, it's going to be hard to replace Torian York, but you bring in a guy like Ray Coney, got a really good room, young players that kind of developed last year. Defensive line is going to look different. But I don't worry about the defensive line with Coach Elko or any of the players that they've put up on there have come from different programs, been able to get to the quarterback.
How about Anto Saka?
Yeah.
Coming over from Northwestern. I believe he was graded pretty highly out of the portal as well. So him opposite Marco Jones off the edge, I get really excited about what that defensive line unit is going to look like, especially because of what you just said. Like, there's a certain level of just confidence I have, whether it's well-placed or irresponsible, in head coaches and the side of the ball or the position group they specialize in. Like, I am always going to trust Miami will have a really good offensive line. Why? Because it's Mario freaking Cristobal, and that's where he comes from when it comes to his playing background and his coaching background. Same exact thought process for the defense. Like, Mike Elko, he does defense. That is his baby. And I think a lot of things will have to go wrong in College Station before that defense takes a massive drop off here, especially going into year 3. So feel really good about the direction that's trending, and I see no reason why that would take a step back either.
JD, have you kind of changed your approach? I think we all kind of have to with like what preseason schedules look like, because there was a time you could look at a preseason schedule and pretty much you knew LSU was going to be LSU and Oklahoma was going to be like. And while that may still be true with NIL, with A&M's got a brand new offensive line. If they gel, yeah, they'll be back. But it is a brand new offensive line. Is it just harder now to kind of look at preseason schedules and be able to tell you what this is going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, I picked LSU to win the national championship last year, David. So I would say so. I would say it's become increasingly more difficult. Also, didn't we all just get totally duped a season ago from what Clemson and Penn State were? Like, Clemson was the #1 returning production football program in the entire country. We're all picking them to make the playoff at least, definitely win the ACC, probably make a run when they get there, and they just, like, dropped off the face of the earth. So I think to what you're speaking to with the portal adding more parity and uncertainty is absolutely fair. And then also, too, like, I think with the structure of the postseason, what I've said for a long time is I don't think it's ever been more difficult in the modern era of college football to predict a national champion, because what you spoke to, like the schedule is a question mark in itself every single year, from what they are in April to what they are in the month of November. But then also you got to be like hot at the right time. You got to be healthy. You got to be able to handle the bye week well or not getting the bye week. Like, there's just so many other variables that go into picking a team to do well in 2026 in the postseason as opposed to previous years.
JD, let's close out with the executive order that President Trump signed. I love the intention. I hope something comes out of it. I just don't know if something's going to come out of it. So I'll let you take it from there.
So, David, I quote tweeted the On3 post when this news broke and just said, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's well above my pay grade to know all the inner workings of the legal system, to know how this is going to factor in. I will say, texted somebody that I do believe knows more about this than me and said, hey, is this going to work? Like explain this to me like I'm a small child. Is this going to be something that holds in college athletics? And the answer I got was, no, it's going to be sued into oblivion. So, again, I like the intention. I like the idea of having a one-time transfer. I think we probably need some caveats around that one-time transfer. Like, if I'm a quarterback and my OC takes another job during, the off-season months, like, I'd like to have some ability to transfer again if I've already transferred once before, because that's a pretty big, puzzle piece in my career. I like the intention, but I don't think this is probably going to be what gets it done based on what people more in the know than me are saying. And so I guess the other, part of that you tried to address is, well, then what is the answer? And the other answer to that is I don't know that either. So we're all trying to figure this out. I think we need a commissioner. Everyone said that for a long time now. But to answer your question directly, David, don't think this is going to be the change in college football to the transfer portal that we all think it could be on paper.
Seems like what most legal experts think is that even though the NCAA doesn't want for players to become employees, that might be the only way to get all the rules that you want.
Would make some sense. Would solve some problems. I don't know. We'll see. It's anybody's guess right now, David. It really is. And I guess we all just kind of get to sit back here and watch it all unfold, huh?
JD, great stuff as always, brother. Thanks so much for your time.
David, appreciate you. Send me that workout plan here.
I got you, man. JD PicKell on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline on 3 Work. He does great stuff. Always appreciate it when he comes on the show. We'll hit a break. Short final segment of the 9 o'clock hour before Billy Liucci comes into studio. We'll chit-chat with Billy during the 10 o'clock hour. I want to talk to you about Heritage Films. They preserve family stories that would be lost otherwise, right? And if you have look, yesterday was Easter. Many of you got to spend time with your family. It would be cool to have Chance there as an eye in the sky, right? Somebody who tells the story of your family events, right? Hey, every Easter we do this, this, and this. Every July 4th we go here. Whatever it may be, let Chance be an eye in the sky and tell your family story. Because if not, the future generations aren't going to know about it, or it'll just kind of change. It'll evolve. How about they get the source directly from the people who lived it and experienced it in a 2-hour documentary? That's what Chance and his team does. Check out the website, yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com. 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films. Hey, it's TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. A few minutes away from the 10 o'clock hour, Billy Liucci should be in studio. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Haley Dorsey, what do you have?
Alex on the YouTube chat was asking if you preferred run first or pass first offense for this next season.
I prefer run first. I got to see what Ruben Owens looks like and the rest of them, but I prefer setting up the pass because of the run. And I think sometimes that can, there's a gray area where I think passing to your running backs can be a running game too. Statistically, I know it's still a pass, but I still think that can set up a lot for you. So I would prefer, with the way this team has been built the last couple of years, run first.
Pete also, whenever we were talking in the Go Hour about the SEC championship game potentially being jeopardized, he said, my view is that the 9-game SEC schedule gives ample information to determine an SEC champion, and playing the game is likely to weaken both teams and set them up for failure in the playoffs. Cancel now.
Yeah, I think I'm not as gung-ho as OB is on keeping the SEC championship game. I would like to keep it until A&M wins it, right? Like it's kind of like when they had the 14 playoff. It was like, I want to make the 14 playoff before we make the 12-team playoff. Unfortunately, that didn't work out the way we wanted it to. I'd like to see A&M win but what's basically happened is we are restructuring what is important in college sports, and I think the regular season is taking less. We are diminishing what the regular season means. That being said, when your team still has a chance at the end of the season, it feels like there's an extra level of excitement, and the ratings were out the roof with college football.
Yeah.
I would keep it for now, but if they do expand to what they're talking about, 16 to 24, then yeah, I think you have to, kind of completely redo it. And also the fact that these conferences are getting bigger is just making it much harder to really figure out who the best team in the conference is. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, we'll find out what's on TexAgs today. And then I think we'll talk to Billy Liucci here in studio. We'll get to your phone calls and your text messages. That's right, we'll take them. 979-693-1150. You're listening to the world-famous TexAgs Live presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, we are back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Liucci should be around here momentarily. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. And that is where we find Haley Dorsey to tell us all the great stuff on TexAgs today.
Well, reminder, if you haven't already, it's a great time to become a TexAgs Premium subscriber. We have a lot of content on the site, so make sure to go and sign up. Today, we have the 2026 Transfer Portal Tracker. The Transfer Portal opens tomorrow. We also have Take 5 with Gavin Grahovic, Kira Musgrove, Jorian Wilson, Marcus Ratcliffe, Jamarian Morrow, KK DeMitt, and Jordan Lockhart. Both baseball and softball series recap. Both of them were able to pull away series wins this weekend. Recruiting coverage from Jason Howell, sights and sounds from spring practice, and then later today, we have baseball thoughts with Brawny, sponsored by Bach Realty.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Haley. All right. I just kind of, as we wait for Billy to get to the studio, I want to kind of go through some of the things that President Trump put in his executive order, hoping to fix college athletics. He does want to transfer. He wants transfer limits, right? So athletes get that one transfer as an undergrad and then can transfer again after earning their degree. I don't remember, Nick, maybe you can fact check if the coach leaves, if that's an extra one as well. I feel like that's one that definitely needs some. That's going to be a deal breaker, I think. If coach leaves, I think a player is going to be able to leave as well. Again, this is all theoretical because he's suggesting it, but it's going to get sued, right? An eligibility cap, a 5-year window, max, no exceptions, no more judges handing out extra years, which, again, we'll see how that goes when it comes to the legal system. No pros returning. Professional athletes cannot come back to college sports. So the question is going to be, well, why do the European players get to come? They're professional athletes because they have a different model in Europe. And I do think they got to get a handle on that, like this, but I understand the loophole that Nate Holtz was hoping to create, but it wasn't in the rules, buddy. So that's why you weren't able to do that. So pros are not allowed to come back. He wants to kill the collectives. I don't know how I feel about that. NIL collectives labeled as fraudulent schemes. So no more of those. I don't think that's going to happen either. Here's one that I think we can all hopefully agree with. Protect women's sports and the Olympic sports. Schools must maintain funding, can't gut non-revenue programs to pay football players. 100% agree with that, right? I hope that's, for somebody that has girls in sports, I want to see it, to me, it matters. It may not matter to everybody out there, but I think it is a huge deal to have all the sports there. Federal funding, as it sticks, schools that don't comply can risk losing federal grants and contracts. An NCAA deadline must update its rules by August 1st. So that's here pretty soon. And Congress still needed other rules pushing for the SCORE Act and the broader legislation. So these are the things that they're pushing for, right? As for the transfer portal restrictions, Nick, were you able to figure out if he put in there a coach change?
I'm still looking, trying to dig through it.
To me, that's for somebody who, here's a Nuñoism, I like it, but I don't, right? Like, I like the portal because it has helped A&M. You don't get the Brady Montgomery story without the portal. There are examples of where the portal is beautiful. You're in the wrong system. There's a personality conflict. There's a lot of reasons for the portal, right? Things I don't like about the portal is, well, this team's going to pay me more, and while it's a competitive environment, and I'm going to go, right? There are reasons for it, but to me, the restrictions, that they all started to change. This new directive is going to allow for athletes to get one penalty-free transfer as undergrads, and if they earn their degree first, they can transfer again freely. I like that. I do like that. And by the way, as a reminder, I believe, am I right on this, Nick? The basketball portal. Oh, here we go. I already hear Billy making fun of me. Yes, we're going to pretend like we know what the order. No. Okay. Haley, I'll check in with you. Give me a text, please.
Oh.
What's your order from Trump?
I didn't order anything from Trump.
Let's see.
What about it?
I was going over the things that he put in there.
What were they?
Okay. Transfer limits.
I like that.
Eligibility cap.
I like that.
5-year window max.
Yeah.
both of those are very common sense. You can tell that those are coming from people that understand college athletics and what is being taken advantage of in the current climate.
Right.
People getting a 5th year of eligibility, a 6th, even a 7th or 8th in some instances, which is insane. But even that 6th year, well, technically even that 5th year right now is not supposed to be. And nobody complains. You don't see people complaining like the rank and file fan. They don't complain when somebody gets a 5th year of eligibility. They start complaining when they start trying to explain why it shouldn't be a 5th, and they start going into the 6th. He's too old. He's too old. Texas fans did that a lot with Rashawn Agee this year. I read every time I read, well, they got this ineligible older player. Tremont Mark was in year 6. Like, they made it famous when, I think, was it Jordan Shipley that was a 6, or Jackson Shipley, one of the two got it like a 6, I believe. It should be 5, done. Like, you can stop all this gray area and just say, you have 5 years to play. And I'm fine. I like them adding that 5th year.
Does that clock start the moment you're a freshman? So 5 years from that point, or 5 years in total?
I think it's 5 years in total.
So even if you...
Oh, you mean if you, like, delayed going to college?
Well, if you got hurt, right? You had a couple years of injuries.
No, I don't. I would check into that, but I think you have 5 years to play. But they probably will start protesting those injuries. That was not a year. We'll see more of that still, I guess. But my point is, the 5 years of eligibility is plenty. Like, now you can do a true red shirt and play 4. You could play 4 games and play 4. You could play 8 games, and you have to do that little dance where we're trying to keep you from playing 4. And that's it. You know, you're 5, you're done, move on. That's fine. And it keeps it consistent, at least. As far as the transfer rule, the one-time free transfer.
Unless you graduate.
I like that one. Or now, what I would like to see is an addendum, like an add in there. If your coach leaves, you can leave without penalty. Head coach.
Head coach, that OC or DC?
I couldn't find anything on the coaches either, but they might.
Yeah, I would say that would be one that I would want to see in there. And I think a lot of coaches and people in sports would, if they're being honest, they would agree with that. Some coaches, well, yeah, you can say that, but you're the same two-faced dude that when you leave to take a job are going to try to take your players with you. So don't you want them to be able to leave when a coach leaves? So there's a little bit of a, I'm just going to stay on the side of the players there, but there's a little bit of a problem it creates. That, like when Lane Kiffin goes, if he could have taken Trinidad Chambers.
What if you can't go where that coach goes?
That would be, I think that would fix it, but I don't know that coaches, I don't think enough people would sign off on that.
Yeah.
That would make the most sense, because then you can't poach and raid a roster, but kids can go look elsewhere, but it almost forces them to give the new guy at least a chance. You know, because it's like, I can't go with the guy that's been setting this up low key, so in a lot of cases, while working here, and maybe not recruiting me to go with him. I can either stay at the school I'm at that I picked with a new coach, or go anywhere else in the country. But I don't think that one will ever get approved. I could see it where if the coach leaves, you could go portal.
No pros returning, which we saw this year.
Again, you're talking a lot of this stuff, and it goes against Washington, and that's not a political statement. That's a politics statement. That's a government statement. A lot of it, typically, what they seem to do is like, why can't you just do the common sense thing? Why can't you just do what everyone else in the country? And that's Republican, Democrat, further right, further left, everywhere in between. In this instance, I think DC, and I think it's probably just Trump. It probably, because it hasn't gone through as much red tape, which, by the way, a lot of people say that's why it won't. It doesn't have stick to it. But in this instance, there is a lot of common sense in there, and a lot of things that just like you kind of going, yeah, why hasn't this been said prior? It's been said, but why hasn't anyone done anything about it? NCAA.
One of the ones that I liked seeing was the protect the Olympic sports and the women's sports. They must maintain the funding and cannot gut revenue to pay football players. And I'm on board with that.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time early on in this, and I was saying this a lot because people that know a lot more than me were telling me this, whether it was on the college coaches level, whether it was on the AD level, people around a couple of different conferences, people in the pro level were talking about it. Like, the number one thing administrators and coaches believed was that where this was trending, the Olympic sports were going to cease to exist. And they were literally going to be like school by school basis, almost essentially all turn into club sports that if some individual donor wanted to help fund them, then great. If not, so I think with the way the last couple of years have gone and this bill, or at least what this bill is intending, and a lot of this stuff too, I think it's almost like going to be like, even if it doesn't end up having enough teeth, it's a template. And
yeah,
and I don't know what like what they're saying in terms of how much that's going to stick, and people are going to have to stick to that. I know at first everybody rolled their eyes. I don't know the last few days. I've been focusing on other stuff. But to me, like, again, I think since all this rev share stuff started and we're a little further down that road now, like a year plus into it, I think there's a lot more optimism on college campuses, a lot more, that those sports aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And there was a point, David, where people that, like I said, knew a lot more than you and I did and a lot more than listeners did that were telling me those sports are doomed. There's no chance. And now it's kind of the opposite. It's kind of like, no, those are going to be fine. We're going to keep those going.
Yeah. The thing I wonder is, are we just talking here, right? Like,
yes, to a degree.
Like, are we really going to see change? There's been these micro changes each year, right? And maybe it'll look different in 5 years, 10 years, 2030. Maybe this is all figured out. But I feel like the fact that lawyers are just waiting to sue everything that the NCAA does, unless they, and I don't want athletes to become employees. I don't. But I feel like that's the only way to be able to get your rules and have collective bargaining and be able to ratify
John
this.
Calipari said the other day, and and Jay Billis can tell him that's why that's not going to happen. I mean, this has been going on. You're 5 years into this argument, and what's happened? They're not going to go. They're not. I don't think they're ever going to become employees. And everybody will say, "Well, that's the only solution." Good luck getting there, because a lot's changed in the last 5 years, but them getting there has not. Did you do that beard off of TikTok? Did you watch a TikTok video?
I've never been on TikTok in my entire
life. Or some kind of instructional video?
No, I'm just growing it.
So the mustache is growing that much faster than the rest of it?
Yeah.
This part, too?
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that, because I didn't notice that.
It looks good. It's just weird. I keep getting distracted.
I know. You know what? You're funny.
It's like a total distraction. I look over, and he's got this, Dr. Zhivago mustache all of a sudden, and then this thing, it just came out of nowhere. At least you know what you're getting with me day to day. I just came in one day, and I'm doing the show with
Rocky IV when he goes to Russia. That's what I am right now.
No, you're nothing like that.
Yeah,
I don't know what
like
this
him.
is.
I look just like Sylvester Stallone. Nothing could be more similar.
No, you look like
my mom yesterday when I went to go see her. She's like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. She'll need to shave.
Moms, you know why?
Because they know what's best.
Well, and of course, I'll give all the trolls ammo. My poor mom just wants me to get a haircut and shave this, and it's been like, she's just, I mean, she's like, God, I don't have, you can't go, you're not married, I don't have a damn grandkid, can you at least shave and get a haircut? You know why, though? They want you to look like
what they remember.
She wants you to look like your little baby Nuño.
Yeah, and why would I hide this face, Billy?
I'm telling you, I'm messing with you. The beard looks good. I'm messing with you about just the distraction of this.
So I need to even it out. What you're telling me?
Just drop in new look.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's just the thing's getting weirder up here, and this little triangle you've got going.
So I need to shape it. Is what you're saying?
No. I don't.
I'm going straight Unabomber. Straight.
It's not what you're doing though. It's
going like
something different's going on. You're not letting it just go.
I'm going to go for a few. Annalise has asked me to finish the week with it.
I think you should keep it.
Well,
and I'm not saying that. I know people will think I'm saying that. You will think. and Zane or anybody here would think that I'm saying that because it looks so ridiculous that I'm egging it on so it could get worse and we can all sit out there and laugh about it. That's not what I'm doing. I think it looks good. That might be what we're doing. The guy sitting over here in that Nick Nolte.
We're both
look.
growing our hair and our facial hair out. So
I like it. I don't know why y'all are doing it. Is it a thing?
I change my look all the time. I had short hair, long hair.
You did. You do change your hair.
I change it a lot. So
you're kind of like the NCAA and these portal rules and NIL.
Well,
just ever changing, ever evolving.
But is it?
You can't pin it down.
But is it really changing? They want change.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's changed in the last few years. I mean, you think about it.
From 21 to now.
You went from collectives, you went from, it's collective this and that, and some schools thought it was, cheating, and now they're all doing it. And then you went to, now you're in revenue share, which is obviously that's a whole new thing. And I mean, just the biggest movement thing is how you can, now there's the CSC, and the clearinghouse, and I mean, so there's been a lot of change, and there's been a lot of attempts, and this is another attempt. But again, like, when are people going to start suing that? Again, the state by state thing kind of screws this whole deal up. When the state, you can kind of go off the state's laws, and it's the same thing with the CSC. Like, when are people going to start suing that entity? And I feel like we've here have had great experience with them. Just kind of working through it and trying to figure out what can be done, what can't. But I think it's just a wide open lane for anybody to say, like, let's say there's a Dunkin' Donuts. No, but that's a national brand. I feel like that's even different. Let's say there was a Nuño's.
Here we go.
I was gonna say something like Nuño's Donuts. Let's say you sold a donut shop.
Okay.
And we're not going to call it
Protein donuts.
Okay, Nuño's Protein Donuts. Nuño's Nuts. We're going to call the store. That's what the store is going to be called. It's donuts, short for donuts.
Yeah.
And
no nuts.
Nuño. Let's say there was a no, I don't get it. They don't cook
Nuño,
donuts.
no nuts. New nut. Never mind.
A David Nuño protein shop.
Okay, go ahead.
And there was a player named by the last name of Nuño. Okay. So say he was a kicker. And
why?
Soccer.
Can he be a linebacker?
No.
Okay.
No. Nuño's protein shop wants to pay, and he says, I think if I can get this guy in here and have him do appearances, it's a perfect branding, and I'm going to pay him $50,000 every time, and he's going to come in.
I'd do that
4 times. I'm going to pay him $200,000, and he's going to come into on 4 different Saturdays and hang out and sign autographs. Okay. So, and they say, no way, that's way too much for that. You can't possibly getting, that's not fair market value. That's not. But for you, because of the name brand and all that, and just the local, you think it is, and you believe it is, and they tell you it's not. I mean, that's where you're going to see people come in and say, no,
right,
we're going to sue. And realistically, it's probably in their mind, it's not. No one would pay $200,000 for somebody to come in 5 times to their store, especially in the protein space. But if you think that and you believe that, and I mean truly do, you're not paying them $10 million to come in. So that's where you're going to start seeing when people start getting turned down. I think you start seeing those lawsuits. And the same thing with this, when they're just going to, I think as soon as a player wants that extra year, as soon as a player has a reason that he has to transfer, and he's already done it once, what do they do?
Right.
What does the NCAA do? What do the state courts do? So there you go.
Well, if a donut shop wants to pay me $200,000 to do an appearance,
you're the one paying.
Sure.
They're not paying.
No, but if they wanted to pay, well, because I was the athlete in this.
Oh, that's true.
All right,
I
was the linebacker / kicker. I did both. A moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're in the market looking for your next vehicle, you owe it yourself to check out the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're stocked up and ready to deal on all the cars on their lot, and they're locally owned. They have an Aggie alumni team ready to show you the red carpet. And remember, every vehicle comes with that free oil change for life. That's real value that keeps paying you back year after year. So stop settling for big city prices and high-pressure tactics. Come see the difference a hometown dealership makes. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com.
At Brazos Valley Floor and Design, the Morrow family has helped Bryan College Station homeowners remodel with confidence for over 25 years, backed by the Adore Your Floor guarantee.
When you're ready to update a kitchen, refresh a living room, or renovate the whole house, come see the latest in flooring, from designer carpet to laminate, luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, and tile.
We're 2 generations, hands-on from design to installation.
Brazos Valley Floor and Design, best floor and design since 1999.
And that's a promise.
And we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy, we sat here on Friday, presented a case for A&M baseball. We said, both of us, look, if Weston Moss just takes care of business, doesn't have to be great, but it's pretty good, this team's going to have a chance to win. And if they have a chance to win, Aiden Sims is going to give them another chance on not on Sunday, on the second game on Friday, give them a chance to win. It kind of played out, I don't want to say best case scenario what we presented, but how we presented it would happen.
I think the first thing I said when I came on Friday was everyone was acting like they'd lost the series, and the series is 3 games. It's not 1. You dug yourself anytime you lose game 1, you've dug yourself a significant hole. Anytime you use 6 pitchers in game 1 and you don't go very deep in that bullpen, and you have to play a doubleheader the next day, it makes winning games 2 and 3 both exponentially harder, more difficult. And so not only did A&M bounce back from a 1-0 deficit to win the series, they bounced back and won games 2 and 3 after the heartbreak of game 1, knowing you had to win both legs of a doubleheader and doing it where you probably didn't have nearly enough bullpen. Well, you come out in game 1 and you win 8-4. And I know he gave up a couple bombs or whatever, but Weston Moss did what he had to do. He did what he had to do, and he chewed up. What he went into the 5th, maybe. Yep. And then your bullpen gave you some great innings there, terrific innings, and you won game 1, and then you came out in game 2 and you put it to them early. Was it 4-0 through 2 innings? You had a couple 2-run home runs. Give Sims a lead and see what he can do. And for him to go 7 complete is remarkable. And you talk about just what the doctor ordered. But what I said, the 2 things I was really harping on were they were gonna have to, first of all, that it was 1 game. It wasn't, the series was not over, even though everything I read would have told me it was, and they had no chance to win that series. And we can start now looking ahead to them. Okay, they've lost this series. It was not. It never is. There's 3 games for a reason. The second part of that, though, was I said they probably have to just lock in and realize you're probably going to have to slug it out with these guys. That part I was right about and wrong about. Like 20 runs in 2 games gives you a chance to win both games. If you would have told me they were going to hold Vandy to 4 runs in 16 innings, I would have said I really don't see that with the way Vandy was hitting, not just with the 14 against A&M. Their final game against Tennessee, they went 16. This is a team that was raking, and you saw it in those first 2 games. How many home runs did they hit? Like 6?
Yep.
To shut that spigot off and hold them to 14, you give up 14 in 9 innings, and then you come back in the next 17 and give up 4. I would not have seen that part coming. I thought, yeah, you're going to have to score 20 runs plus in this doubleheader to win. I mean, they could have won that series that doubleheader scoring 6 runs. They could have won 5-4 and 1-0 the way Sims was pitching and the way game 1 went. So that part I did not see. That part really encourages you moving forward. And again, if just Moss or Sadeo can just kind of find something, then this conversation becomes totally different. But you got to love just the way they're hitting, their approach at the plate, but also it's just such a formidable lineup. It really is.
I mean, they scored 28 runs in 3 games.
Yeah, and again, you can. And what did they do the weekend prior?
Something similar.
Yeah,
right?
It was like, I think it was 30. I think it was 38 the weekend prior.
Yeah.
So I think they'll hit against most everyone. I mean, I don't think you're going to score 12 runs against everyone. You might, by these Sundays are going to be real problematic for A&M opponents because of just getting through the weekend, getting in rhythm. Now, Texas would be an exception, maybe with the way, they've got Volantis on Sunday. Most teams don't have that. A&M's got Sims on Sunday, which all of a sudden...
You like him on Sunday?
Man, I've thought about this, and I get both sides of it. Like, he's performing the best. do you start to move him up now and then get ready for the because if right now if you're playing in a postseason, you absolutely have to have him go.
Yeah.
You can't in a super regional. He's got to pitch one of your two. You think you can't like go, well, we'll use him Sunday. In a regional, even it's like, man, that one's weird because it's like, what's your seed? Because that 2-3 game would be the most important. But if you're a 1 seed, I'm not saying they're a 1 yet, but I mean, there's a world where they could host a regional for sure. I mean, they're right on the cusp, and they got to keep playing. And they don't have to keep playing like they are. They have to start playing better. But they are on that trend. That's what the trend tells you they're doing.
25-6.
Yeah, like individually and team-wise, they are trending upwards, and you can see it over a course of weeks. We're not picking. On Friday against Vandy, they look like a regional host. No, like their body of work and just the trend over the last few weeks, that's where they're heading. So they're right on the cusp of that. So either way, like, yeah, in a 1-4, like you want to have him pitch your first 2 days. When do you start doing that? I don't know, because to me, I kind of like this concept of on Sunday, against a lot of these teams, you're at a decided advantage because they're down to the significant drop-off in their third pitcher. And your bats have spent all weekend just sitting up there hitting. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days in a row. And then on top of that, you add in that you've got a huge advantage on the bump because you have Sims, and they have kind of, in a lot of cases, a newbie or a journeyman, that type, or a guy that's going to be really good in another year, whatever. Big advantage for Texas A&M. So if you could just get one of those first two, and you're going into Sunday with a chance to win a series with Aiden Sims on the bump, it's a massive advantage for Texas A&M to win that series. So it's a hard one for me because I can make an argument for all sides of it. Yeah.
I could even make an argument of just moving it one spot each. So moving Aiden to game 2, Weston to game 1, and Shane to game 3.
Well, even that changes. It goes both 1 or 2. Everything I just said is still applicable. So, I mean, it's interesting. And part of it is now a time to do it because he pitched Friday. Could you give him a full rest and pitch him again this Friday?
Right.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll hit a break.
But he also threw 117 pitches. Maybe an extra day wouldn't hurt. Anyway.
In Texas, your HVAC system isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And when you need service, it matters who you call. And I hope you call the Daily Company. They're locally owned and they're operated company that takes real pride in serving this great community. Their HVAC department provides comprehensive service, including repair, maintenance, full system installation. So whether your AC stops working in the middle of the summer or your heater needs attention before a cold snap, their licensed technicians are there to help you every step of the way. They offer emergency HVAC repair because they know those breakdowns never happen at a convenient time. And their team works with all the major brands out there, from Lennox to Trane to Goodman, you name it, they have it, and they will take care of it. At Daily Company, they stand behind their work and treat every customer like it's their own. Call Daily Company right now at 979-2060-2020. That's 979-260-2020. Stay comfortable year-round with a local team that you can trust. You can visit them at godaily.com and experience the daily difference. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports. And they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle From fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs, leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. And we're back. It is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David.
Trying to give you a weather update.
Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy's just kind of going over the weekend weather with me. So this just popped up on my timeline. Billy, here's one. It says, Mike Elko tells, what did he tell? Chris Lowe. Oh, our good friend Chris Lowe. Texas A&M's changing the national narrative after a critical last season. We need to start moving the needle. In the past, if you read anything about us, it felt very negative at times, and probably rightfully so. Nobody around here wants to hear that.
No, and Elko is, he'll fight. He quietly, if you haven't noticed, that's like one of the battles that he's chosen to wade into and not get out of. And I think it's just going to be a constant with him, where he is fully believes, and I don't disagree with him, that like it's almost like whatever you did accomplish in year one, and no one was saying that was, needed to end in a trophy or rings or cups or banners or anything, but it was like because of the past history and the kind of almost like negative outlook, kind of the fool me once outlook, even from your own fan base and your own media and things like that, like that he's not him, his program is not getting like, oh, you went You went 8-4 again. That's all A&M does. And it's like, no, and I've talked about this a lot. No, you went 8-4 in year one under a new head coach. There are 16 teams in the SEC. Only one of them, well, at that point, 2 of them did better in year one. And it was Les Miles and Kalen DeBoer, who were both 1 game better at 9-3. Elko went 8-4. You looked at A&M's record like the previous 5 years against teams that finished with winning records in the SEC. It was something pitiful. They were above 500 against teams with winning records in the SEC that year. They won 2 top 10 games at home in year one. So there was a lot of positivity that for year one of a coach and for what he was building, and compared to the 3 years prior. And then same thing with like what he's doing this year with the NFL draft thing. It's showing you how far they've come in a short period of time, which in some instances, I think a lot of the national people do notice even more so, but he's just going to push that growth and that agenda in terms of how quickly they've come, because it benefits his program and kind of on the recruiting front, in the media space / the exposure space. And then to talk about the years before he got here to what he did in year one, and then you factor in year two, and you're saying, hey, in year two they had as good a season as we've ever seen around here. Regular season wise, it's right there with the best. They've had undefeated seasons. 1 year was 94. They tied 1-1. But we all know this is different.
Yeah.
The teams you're playing, so it was right. It's right up there with the best season that A&M's had. Regular season wise, it might have been the best. To start out 11-0, finish 11-1, and finish in, I think, 7th in the country through the regular season. It's as good as anything they've done, and that was year 2.
Right.
We're not 6 years into this thing. We're not 4 years into this thing. It was year 2. So I do think he's got a noticeable chip on his shoulder when it comes to that. But it's not because his ego wants that. It's because he understands he's fighting a battle. And it's a battle that he wants to win any of 100 different battles to win the war. This is a battle that he feels like he can wage because he's got facts and evidence on his side. And he does. When it's to say, hey, we're off to a tremendous start here. The arrow is pointing way up. If you go year 1 to year 2 and everything leading up to that, everything preceding that, we're doing things here that haven't been done in a long, long time, and hopefully if ever. So that's where I think he understands, I'm going to fight this fight because more and more people need to recognize this, because if they do, it helps our program culture, it helps our program exposure, and it helps the type players we're able to get in here.
So let's say they get back to the playoffs this year, okay? What does that do, you think, for that national narrative? Is it like, all right, A&M's for real? Like, it's not a one-year blip. Does it change, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think it changes the narrative, that by itself. Now, if you went 9-3, got in the playoffs, lost in round 1, I think it's still, we got back. It's back-to-back playoff berths. That's the expectation. That's the norm. That's not the outlier. And we plan to do this year in and year out, is find our way into this playoff field. And then in that case, you'd be like, and eventually start winning, right? Now, if you went 10-2 on this schedule and won a playoff game or 2 like Ole Miss did last year, but if you, or did Ole Miss, yeah, they won 2 because they played Tulane. But if you went like, you didn't get any bye and you went round of 12, you won a round of 8, got to a Final Four, like those type things would completely, I think, change the narrative to say, I think people around the country, some already believe this, but I think unanimously people could be going, A&M's going to win a national championship under Mike Elko. And what better recruiting tool could you possibly have? And I think if they went 10-2 and split playoff games and finished 11-3 a year after going 11-2, you've arrived. And you can send that message that like, hey, we're going to win one here. It's a matter of when, not if. And this is you would look at the program. This is an if, right? you would look at the programs around college football and go, who are the five ascending programs in the sport, and A&M would be in the top half of those 5 if they had another 11-win season in any form or fashion.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll do a final segment here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is coming up. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. I'm going to give you a question, Billy, that you're going to hate.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But just we got 6 minutes left. Let's close it out with this. If this happens, A&M's a playoff team. If you could give me one or two things on each side of the ball. If this happens, A&M's a playoff team. I know it's a very simple question.
I think if Marcel Reed, I don't know how to describe it. Just say takes the next step. Someone might say, well, what does that mean? Does that mean
touchdown turnovers?
Yeah, that'd be the first thing people say. And I'm like, probably, but I think it's more the nature of the turnover. Like, if I don't want him to have 12 turnovers, but you can go look at a lot of great quarterbacks that had great, you can go look and see sometimes they turn it over. It's a style of play. Mm-hmm. But it's because they're risk takers that They're risk takers that make a ton of plays. Yeah. So I don't want to see that. But you could see Marcel could have 10 turnovers and account for 39 touchdowns next year, and A&M go 11-1. And what's the complaint? Mine would be, well, I hope he doesn't have turnovers, inside the 15-yard line in key moments of games, like he did in the last couple. I hope he doesn't have 3 turnover half like he did against South Carolina. And like those are the things. But it could also mean he just becomes a better passer and takes that next year's progression from year 1 as a starter to year 2 to year 3. And then we see him make that jump as a passer in terms of accuracy. It could mean that Holman Wiggins and Joey Lynch find ways to make him more comfortable and better. It might be him running more. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But a better Marcel, let's just say where Marcel Reed is like I think it is a top 3 quarterback in the SEC. If he's that guy, regardless of who the other 2 are, I think A&M wins a lot of games. Tying into that, it's going to be, I think, line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Obviously. But when you lose that many starters, like how does A&M rebuild that offensive line immediately to be a good offensive line? And I think in some ways you're trying to be better than you were last year at that position. They struggled down the stretch, even with NFL guys. Their last 3 games were not good up front, period. And, I don't know the whys to that. The running game faded. You didn't have Moss, so it's kind of you're going to go in with Rubin and Morrow. So rather than say line of scrimmage, I'd take it to say run game. Like whether that includes running back health, whether that includes Owens taking a big jump and being that guy, which a lot of people are talking about, whether that's Morrow emerging or freshman like a KJ Ed, I don't know the answer, but like an improved running game.
Especially at the end of games, end of the season.
Yeah, and that ties in with the offensive line. So I would say Marcel jump, improved running game. I do think the 2 go hand in hand. And then I would say defensively, it's got to be the big plays, eliminate, not particularly, like very specifically, the big running plays. They didn't give up a ton of big pass plays last year. They didn't. They took a massive jump in terms of preventing big passing plays from Elko's first year to his second. Now from his second to his third, can they do the same thing with the big run plays allowed? If they can do those things, to me, that's a playoff team.
I agree.
And I believe they're equipped to do that. Like I love what I'm seeing from the linebackers. I like what they did in terms of portaling all these starting SEC linemen, but also having several guys that could play. I had someone ask me, does it surprise you that Tyler Thomas is out there with the ones today? And I said, no. They're going to shuffle them all around, but they got guys that could compete to start this year. And I'm not going to say them all. I'm not playing this game where I've got to, if I don't say a player's name, if I don't say if you're a parent, if I don't say your kids, it doesn't mean they're not going to play. I'm just going to say a couple that jump to mind. And sometimes some people, not parents, others, like I feel like they can't handle that. And it's like, dude, like y'all need to chill out, okay? Relax. It's not that serious. I'm not the be-all, end-all. If I don't say a player, they're not playing or they're going to transfer because I didn't say their name. Are we off air? That crap is stupid. But anyway, rant aside, what I'm saying is, like, certain guys to me, like, look like ready to compete. Tyler Thomas, Blake Ivy, Robbie Bourdon. Like, those guys jump out to me when I see them. And then Lamont Rogers has caught my eye more this spring than I expected. I think he's going to be a terrific lineman at A&M, but he's just starting spring of year. He's been here exactly a year. I know how highly rated he was, but he's transformed his body a little bit, and he looks pretty good out there. So they've got a nice blend of transfer portal players, but then also the terrific job in-house was to say, we're keeping our developmental guys, which I think will pay off this year in the form of a starter. It might be 2, but where it really pays off is next season when those guys aren't going to leave because it's like, no, it's your time now.
Right.
Now you start. You played a little last year, or you took over when that guy got hurt and played in the last 5 games, or you beat out the, like, now it's your time. And you're going to have a lot of homegrown guys coming up through the program in the trenches, and you'll feel good about it because you're not rushing or pressuring them. If any of them start this year, they have to have beaten out some proven SEC starters to get there.
Billy, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, David.
Have a great week.
All right.
All right. That's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Monday. Thanks to Bronny and Coach Earley and OB and Billy. Tomorrow on the program, this is what I can tell you. I know we've got Shireen on the show. I know we got Jacob Graham on the show. We're working on a legal expert to talk a little bit about this, the SAVE Act and what Trump's trying to do. So we'll have that on the program. Of course, we will have a little spring football talk. That and more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll catch up with you guys mañana.